In the late 1950s, the Italian government decided to build the tallest dam in the entire world. It was called the Vajont Dam, a towering masterpiece of modern concrete engineering meant to provide immense hydroelectric power. Standing 860 feet high, it was a massive symbol of human ambition and dominance over nature. But this concrete giant was built in the absolute worst possible place on Earth. It sat in a deep, narrow gorge directly beneath Mount Toc. For centuries, the local villagers had warned against building there. The name Mount Toc literally translates to the walking mountain, a desperate warning about its highly unstable, crumbling geology. But the greedy energy corporation and corrupt politicians completely ignored the locals. They were obsessed with profit and prestige, refusing to halt the multi-million-dollar project. As the massive artificial lake began to fill with millions of tons of water, the nightmare started. The sheer weight of the water seeped into the fragile rock of the mountain, destabilizing it entirely. Deep, terrifying cracks began appearing across the mountainside. The earth shook, and small landslides constantly splashed into the reservoir. But instead of draining the lake and admitting defeat, the arrogant engineers decided to play a dangerous game. They tried to slowly raise and lower the water level, believing they could control the mountain and wash the landslide down gently. It was a fatal miscalculation of apocalyptic proportions. On the night of October 9, 1963, at exactly 10:39 p.m., the mountain finally gave way. A colossal slab of solid rock, over 2 kilometers long and holding 260 million cubic meters of earth, detached completely. It plummeted into the dark, freezing lake at a terrifying speed of 110 kilometers per hour. The sheer force of the impact was equal to 2 atomic bombs. What happened next defied all laws of physics and human imagination. The falling mountain displaced the entire lake in a fraction of a second. It created an unimaginable megatsunami, a solid wall of dark water over 820 feet tall. That is taller than most modern skyscrapers. The colossal wave shot violently up the opposite side of the gorge, wiping out entire mountain villages instantly. But the deadliest part of the wave rushed directly toward the massive concrete dam. The engineers had designed the dam to withstand extreme pressure, but they never prepared for the water to simply jump over it. With a deafening, apocalyptic roar, the towering megatsunami launched itself hundreds of feet into the night sky, flying completely over the top of the dam. The concrete structure miraculously held its ground, but the water bypassed it entirely, dropping into the deep valley below. Down in the valley, the working-class town of Longarone was sleeping peacefully, completely unaware of the hell descending from the sky. Before the water even hit, a supersonic shock wave of displaced air blasted through the gorge. This wind was so incredibly violent that it stripped the clothes off people and snapped massive trees like matchsticks. Seconds later, 50 million cubic meters of freezing, mud-filled water smashed into Longarone. The town was annihilated in less than 4 minutes. The dark, churning wall of liquid concrete and crushed rocks erased everything. Heavy stone churches, steel bridges, and entire streets were ground into nothing but bare bedrock. Over 2,000 men, women, and children were killed almost instantly in the dark. When the sun rose the next morning, the rescue workers found an unrecognizable, silent wasteland of mud. A thriving town had been wiped off the face of the earth, leaving behind a sterile crater. The tragedy of Vajont was not a natural disaster. It was a mass murder caused by pure corporate arrogance. The politicians and engineers responsible were eventually put on trial. But the justice delivered was minimal compared to the thousands of lives lost.